Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic and that you're all having an incredible day. If you leave a like or a comment or a subscription, an angel will get its wings. I don't know, I heard that rumor. It just seems to be true because the internet doesn't lie. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The chief, there's a lot of, once again, if you haven't noticed the trend, there's a lot of wild news. The chief executive officer of the world's largest crypto index fund manager says the firm's clients are positioning themselves for the next Bitcoin bull cycle. In a new interview with Bloomberg Technology, Bitwise CEO Hunter Horsley, that is Sorsley, says that 2022 has certainly been a bear market for crypto, but that he sees an increased amount of interest from clients. He said, and I do quote, "Crypto is down about 60% or thereabouts. It's changing every day. So the story of this year is definitely a bear market. Nevertheless, we've seen increased interest from our client base. And I think the backdrop for many crypto investors is there have historically been 4-year cycles, and while there are opportunities to make money in many crypto market moments, bear markets are the moments when fortunes can be made." So there are some that are positioning themselves in the current bear market and are coming into the space now. End quote. Remember I mentioned before, something is up, something's really weird. There's far too much institutional support and movement and money and large capital flows that are happening. I mentioned this like 2 weeks ago. I started upping so I put money into the market all the time. There's never a time, if the market's up, I put money into it. If the market is down, I also put money into it. But this one feels different. I don't know why. This one feels like there's going to be like a massive movement upward when we finally get out of the clutches of the Fed. I've basically like 10x the amount of money that I normally put into the market. When the market's down, I'm like, okay, I'll sprinkle some in here. No, me and one of my very close friends, hello, if you are listening, have become quite aggressive recently. And in all facets of the market for NFTs as well, because I feel like something is up. There's far too much good news all the time, and we are no longer on this like institutional sideline kind of thing. It's like, no, the banks and the countries are here. So I'm myself preparing accordingly. Horsley reiterated his point about the historical market patterns, explaining why he expects a new bull market to begin next year. It's basically the 4-year patterns. He thinks that we are in year 3 and that next year is the beginning of the next cycle upward, and that should usually end around the year 2024, like midway through it. Historically, we always see the exact same thing. A year before the big bull explosion, that's not what it's called. Like before that thing actually ends up taking place, we have a year of upward momentum. Everyone gets really excited, and then we enter the euphoric phase without realizing that we've entered it. People think that the market is going to kind of go up forever. We usually have about a good 6 to 9 months that'll move into 2024. Everyone gets really crazy. The market goes to new all-time highs. Everyone's losing their minds. People keep dumping money into the market. Collapse happens. It's the same exact way for the crypto market over and over and over. Very fascinating that we keep seeing this kind of news over the last couple of weeks. This is from another analyst. It says Bitcoin bottoming process in effect. As Bitcoin flashes, it says July 2021 vibes. Kind of cringy. According to a top analyst. A lot of the price news, I trimmed a huge portion of it off of it. A large part of it had to do with Bitcoin going up, Bitcoin being at the bottom, Bitcoin's price is preparing for something, Bitcoin is going to be doing this, Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. That was one of the main price themes for today. It says Ethereum price consolidates below $1,300. What could trigger a sharp decline? I don't know, a lot of things. The Fed, someone belching too loud. It's a lot of things that can move this market in any given direction. The most prominent, definitely not popular price news of the day. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says ApeCoin crashes by 7%. following the SEC announcing that they are going to be probing Yuga Labs, who are the people who created the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Yep, they're at it once again. Their idea is that, or they have announced that, they are investigating them to try and figure out if the token is an unregistered security, if it is decentralized or not decentralized enough, or what was the other part? Oh, they're also trying to claim, here we go, here's a good one. The SEC is trying to claim that they believe that the actual NFTs are acting more like stocks than actual pieces of art, what have you. These people have completely lost their minds. When I was reading over and I was going through everything and I saw the constant notice of that the SEC is trying to look into if they can classify, if they themselves can come to the conclusion that the NFTs are stocks, I was like, you. First of all, it's not even like they haven't gone too far before. They're reaching so far in constant desperation, but the problem is there's no one to police the police. There's no one who actually checks what they do. And we've had notifications before that there are other organizations who try to look into what the SEC does, but we know that they're doing too much. And how the other organizations haven't also come to that conclusion, it's basically inward corruption. So I believe that they're going after multiple different projects. It's just that the Bored Ape Yacht Club is the largest one at the moment. I'm going to say this, and it's the last time I'm going to talk about this topic, at least until something else dramatic happens about it in the news. One of the main things that a lot of people were talking about online is that they were saying that the project should be fine because it has a DAO. It has a decentralized autonomous organization, that the project is basically moving on its own. The people from Yuga Labs introduce new things into the ecosystem, and therefore, etc., etc. We are going to have a very strong test overseeing if this project is actually decentralized and if their DAO is actually decentralized, because one of the main things that has happened over the last 4 to 5 years and what gives the SEC its terrible power is that people keep announcing that their project is decentralized. It has a decentralized autonomous organization that can run freely without the company actually being a part of it. And we've seen many times before in the past that it does not, that the company or a company usually controls it. So yeah, and for clarity as well, just in case you missed about a good 38 videos over the last couple of weeks, I also own ApeCoin. I mentioned that before. It's just more of a, you guys got to actually be decentralized. That's the only way to move forward in the space, because if you're properly decentralized, the SEC cannot go for you. It is literally impossible for them to talk about shutting off your nodes, because that's not how life works. Also in the news, stock futures have risen. I know, right? Weird. It says ahead of key inflation data and the Fed's minutes, stock futures ticked higher on Wednesday morning as investors awaited the latest inflation numbers and the minutes from the Federal Reserve's latest meeting. So, at the moment, the general trend of stock news is that many people believe and keep on reiterating that it appears that our markets are at the bottom. They won't be collapsing anymore, that we've kind of, we see these levels and this is where they will generally stay. There seems to be a lot of optimism that for whatever reason, I haven't looked into any of the inflation data or whatever is going on, but apparently I think it's supposed to be happening today or tomorrow, where the Fed is going to give us indications as to exactly how high or how low inflation is. If what they've been doing has been working, if it is working, then we may get a lower interest rate rise, what have you. But around the world, stocks are currently rising. The cryptocurrency market is also in surprise, a light green. It's following the exact same trend. But yeah, prices right now, everyone is very, I'll hold back there. Many people are quite optimistic. that sometime the end of this year, the beginning of next year, the stock market will be rip-roaring again. That also fits exactly into the time frame that we've been getting before as to when people believe that the cryptocurrency market is going to run back up with prices. And ApeCoin is, I believe, the biggest price loser today because of what the SEC has done. Yeah, that's all the price news. Alrighty, let's move on. I wish my chair would stop creaking. I feel like I'm about to fall off of it. It doesn't. I don't feel safe on this chair. All right, shut up. Like, stop. Okay. Let's move. I just told my chair to shut up. Let's move on. In one of the most popular news stories of the day, BNY Mellon, that is MELLON, has launched a digital custody platform to safeguard its clients' Ether and Bitcoin holdings on the 11th of October, making America's oldest bank the first large bank in the country to offer the custody of digital assets and traditional investments on the same platform. According to a statement, the bank will be storing private keys to access the funds and providing the same bookkeeping services offered to fund managers in other assets such as stocks and bonds. They said, with digital asset custody, we continue our journey of trust and innovation in the evolving digital asset space, while embracing leading technology and collaborating with fintechs. Yes, we have had news since around the year 2018 or 19, I believe, that the oldest bank in the United States was looking into the cryptocurrency space. I think they custody, $43 trillion, and the bank is 238 years old. That is extremely old. It is. It's a huge number. And they have officially gotten into the cryptocurrency space. I made multiple jokes yesterday on Twitter. I was like, the sad part is every single time that we get really good news, prices fall. I know that there are outside sources and outside influences that are causing prices to fall. I get it. But come on, it's a bit ridiculous. So this is officially, once again, another well-known, gigantic, big bank who has announced their full support of getting into the cryptocurrency space. As you might have imagined, this news was all over the place. There was a lot of discussion about it. A lot of people were even talking about it on traditional financial news sources, as it's quite huge. We have continued to get news like this for a while. I think this is going to accelerate any type of price movements that we have in the future. Remember this and remember it well. We are no longer the only ones in the market. It's not just us. It's not one of your friends who thought about getting into the market. There's very big money now inside of the market, and they found a way as well to buy over the counter. So if you haven't been paying attention, there's not a lot of crypto left, as they would like you to believe. That's the oldest bank in the United States. BNY Mellon has officially announced cryptocurrency services for their clients. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in popular news, Google will start accepting Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as payment for its cloud services early next year. The internet giant announced on Tuesday that it had formed a partnership with Coinbase to enable the new payment method. They said, powered by Coinbase Commerce, which enables merchants globally to accept cryptocurrency payments in a decentralized way, of course. The new payment experience will benefit Google Cloud customers and partners by increasing the optionality of payments for Google Cloud services. We have known for at least 900 years now that Google, Amazon, and Microsoft have been very deep within the cryptocurrency space. This is, I guess, some level of clarification. This was, of course, more popular than the BNY Mellon news that Google is officially accepting Bitcoin. I believe it's Bitcoin and Ether. Those were the two coins that I kept on seeing over and over. Bitcoin and Ether for their cloud services. So while this news is gigantic and phenomenal, we of course actually moved down in price as this was happening. So I'm just going to chalk that up to maybe a lot of people can't read, or maybe they heard that something was happening, but they were like, what's a goggle? And then simply moved on with their lives. But yeah, so every single, you realize the only, and I'm doing a light air quotes here, the only bad news that we keep getting basically stems from anything with the three letters SEC. Everything else tends to be good and or okay. And also, even with the stock market news, we know that cannot and will not last forever. The stock market will eventually move back on up, and we will move back on up with them. So I guess this is another coin in the jar in the coin in the field, or something like that. It's something good that we can add to our bucket of really incredible things that keep on happening over and over. I never thought I would see the day where we would actively have around 60 banks announcing that they're into this new technology. And even more so, like when you think of the idea of a bank custodying a coin, it's simply them holding it as if they would money. But I think we hear the word crypto custody and it has like a different like mysticism to it. No, they're now just holding crypto like they would paper money or stocks or bonds or other assets. Like all the banks are doing it at the same time. The largest company on the planet is also now accepting cryptocurrencies as payments. This is why I guess that guy was like, fortunes are going to be made, because I have thought for a while rich people have definitely been accumulating. But the fact that it's happening under everyone's nose and on their eyes and in their ears constantly, and so many people still aren't paying attention, I find it quite fascinating. I try to sometimes, when I'm with friends who are not into crypto, I try to sprinkle these words into conversations, let them know what's going on. They don't care. They don't even slightly remotely care. And it's this really weird... I'll tell you this one part. I have a friend who mentioned, this was about 2 months ago, she mentioned that she really wants to stop working. She hates her job. She doesn't like where she lives. She wants to make more money. She wants to do so and so. And even more so, she was mentioning something along the lines of like, oh my gosh, like I wish I had more money. I wish I had, gotten a different job years ago so that I could have this extra money, so that I could buy a house somewhere. She wants to live in the mountains and have goats. She's just that kind of person. And I looked at her and I was like, there was definitely a way for you about 4 years ago to have all of that and then some. It's just called investing. Like you could even have had, I was like, you could have even had a stock portfolio that gave out dividends that would have made you enough money over the course of time. And she was like, I don't have time. I don't have time to learn all of that. And I was like, but you have another 40 years to work. That's what you have time for. This like constant struggle of you complaining over and over. Anyway, sorry for the tangent there, but it gets a bit annoying because I know I'm not the only one who has friends who constantly complain about money, but they do absolutely nothing. Can you imagine? I'm going to assume the answer is a resounding no. Can you imagine working in the same job for the next 40 years? Because pensions are running out, as are like retirement funds. Like look that up as well. Like the only ones that are going to have any money are like privately managed funds by hedge funds and other companies. Another 40 years of working, especially at the same job. I saw a video, you can find them, like type in like retirement crisis. You'll find thousands of videos about it. But there was one video that stuck out to me, like, that one of those things that kind of like stays in your memory. And it was this 97-year-old guy who was like breaking down boxes at Walmart. He was a greeter and he also had to go back and break down boxes. And he was like, it's okay, I got to do this because me and my wife didn't save any money. And she's at home laying down. And I was like, what is even reality anymore? Like that, the idea of not saving or not investing is probably one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard of in my, like, it's worse than any horror movie I've ever seen. The idea of not having like huge amounts of like money to like make sure that I'm cushioned in some sort of way, that my family's cushioned in the future. I don't understand. I don't get how anyone could be complacent and like, 40 years isn't a long amount of time. I don't mind working for 40 years. You're out of your mind. There's no way on this planet. Anyway, that's the Google is now accepting crypto payments for cloud services news. I don't get people. I truly, sincerely do not. Oh boy. Let's move on. Also, in other news that's also been going on. So remember, like, I think it was spring? I want to say spring. I don't know. Spring just sounds about nice. We had news that there were allegedly, I believe, 3 or 4 different companies who were trying to get a Bitcoin ETF pushed through in the United States. We all know what happened. There was also one yesterday. The SEC just said no to another Bitcoin ETF to the shock of the nation. However, Grayscale mentioned earlier this year that if the SEC rejected their Bitcoin ETF proposal, that they would be taking them to court. Guess what just happened? Yeah, the Grayscale just basically started filing paperwork, and the SEC is next to do so. And I believe this will come to a something around November, where they have to actually go to court together. I side with Grayscale just simply because it's very, what's the word? Odd what the SEC has been doing. And even more so, in just the opening statements, their lawyer was like, the idea has been that the U.S. SEC has consistently let through the barrier Bitcoin futures or even Bitcoin futures ETFs. And the SEC has said that they're stopping normal ETFs because of price manipulation or price whatever so-and-so, whatever they keep lying to all of us about. Apparently, I didn't even know this part. A lot of the people who are filing for a normal physical Bitcoin ETF are simply matching what the futures say. So like the futures contract. So like the futures ETFs, they simply say, if they let this through, why not let ours through? And the US SEC keeps saying no. The SEC has a lot on their plate right now, and I hope that people keep heaping on more because I want to know exactly what's going on and why they keep saying no. Keeping this in mind, never forget this. Every other country, every other corporation and bank and institution and hedge fund that has announced that they were going to try and launch a Bitcoin ETF in their country, they did it. There was no hesitation from their country. They went through the normal process. Their regulator saw all the paperwork and said, yeah, cool. Why is the United States the only place on the planet that still doesn't have it? And the SEC is still adamant. The SEC still says they're not allowing it through because of market manipulation. The only people who have manipulated the market have been the SEC. Consistently, over and over and over and over and over. How do you get a coin's price to go down? You announce that the SEC is probing them. How do you make sure that there are more people who want to bet against the price of Bitcoin? You keep allowing Bitcoin futures to go through. We know that, like explicitly. Like we've been told this thousands of times over the last couple of years. We even know that they only let Bitcoin futures happen so the price of Bitcoin would drop. We heard this from the former CFTC commissioner. He told us. I've gone over that article about 5 times since that happened. So, excited to see exactly what ends up happening. Grayscale has officially taken the SEC to court. I hope this is not another 2-year long drawn out process, but I assume the SEC is definitely going to try and make it as ridiculous as possible. Can we just completely shift over to the CFTC at this point? Just completely. The SEC is a pile of hot garbage, and I don't understand how. And even crazier, if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, apparently no one likes the SEC. Even people within the SEC don't like the SEC. And every other company and corporation who's had to work with them says that they're absolutely horrendous. Still. And they're basing themselves still off of laws from the 1920s. Many of our grandparents and great-grandparents were not even here. Think about that. The idea of the internet made no sense to anyone back in 1920s. And they're still basing laws off of a 1920s law and are applying it to a digital currency. It is almost the year 2023. That's the Grayscale is sticking true to their word. News. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in the news, good luck. Go for it. The Terra Classic community has apparently created a petition to get the coin listed on Coinbase. Go for it. I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to make any jokes. It's more of a go for it. We've seen it happen before. There have been many other attempts by other coins and communities to try and get other coins listed on Coinbase. Coinbase is a very particular place, and I'm not sure why people still use them because they have incredibly high fees. But Coinbase, well, not even a but, it's just more of an and. They have a really weird thing where, like if you ask your parents for something over and over and over, like you just won't get it. But the moment you kind of stop asking, it ends up happening. Coinbase is kind of the exact same way. They don't list things when people are actually asking them for it. It always ends up happening a year and a half later when everyone has kind of forgotten that they even wanted it on their platform, and then they end up listing it. But they tend to not do this like hype release anymore, where like people are, hey, do this. Every other platform does it because that's how you make money. But Coinbase doesn't want money. I don't really know. I don't get it. Has anyone been using Coinbase for staking their Ether? And I ask because they have incredibly high fees for something that you could be doing for free yourself. And I just want to know if people are really paying those high fees on that platform. Because we spoke about that before. There were multiple places who were like, hey, here's how much you can get from Ethereum. You can do so-and-so Ethereum. And we have this number fees. And Coinbase was like, we have 95% fees. Okay, that's not the real number. But you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, that's go for it. Keep it going. I'm just going to tell you right now. If you get 100,000 signatures, Coinbase is still probably not going to list this. That's just how Coinbase is. So, I know it does work, actually. I contacted someone years ago. This was many, many moons ago from Coinbase. And I was asking, like, how does the listing process work? Just being, general inquiry. And they basically said, at least back then, you have to, like, email them. You have to send them a message. Like, they actually count how many messages say, like, hey, we want this coin listed. Hey, can you please list this coin? And apparently that's what they listen to. So keep your petition going and also just message them. Apparently it works. That's the Terra Classic on trying to get on Coinbase news. Moving along. Also in the news, for those of you not looking at the screen, it says Solana DeFi trading platform known as Mango Markets was hacked and lost $100 million. I'm not going to even stay on this. I'm not going to even waste my time because I know very few people are listening. So a platform on top of Solana called Mango was hacked and they lost $100 million. Moving along. Also in the news, it says Ripple gains another edge over the SEC as they win the judges' support. So basically, there have been two companies who basically came forward and applied for an amicus brief, or to be an amici, which is, I believe, friend in Italian, in the judgment in the court case, in the whole entire thing, and the judge basically gave both of them a thumbs up. Usually, I believe this is done if you have some type of proof, or you can prove something against the opposition, or you can prove it whatever in a friendly kind of manner. They are not part of the lawsuit per se, but apparently they can provide information that would be pertinent to the actual judgment, if you will. And I am certain the SEC did everything in their power to make sure that they could not do this. But once again, I don't know who this judge is. You definitely get a golf clap, because she seems incredibly competent, and she's actually, making sure that things happen in this court case. There was also news, I don't have it here, Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of the company Ripple, announced that he believes that either by the end of this year or early next year, they should see a judgment. I assume the judge has said something, or simply somebody else knows what's going on. So, right. That's the Rapple news. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, GBU Wally, Dotha Diddy, Manny Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and let's move on. Empire Queen, Roman, Gaba, Bitcoin, Ben Arachno, Dave, Tony, Ambroski, The Dealers In, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lay, Mobarazzi, VB 21, Miguel Grolay, Lawrence Silva, Quarter Bitty, Troy, all good. Space Case, Need a Miracle, Patrick Nasa, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman, High, XRP, Martin Story, Nostromo, John Sarsi, The Anima, Rita, Bibliophobia, Todd, Mullis, Adam Grace, Wise9, Owl, 242 to the World Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cool U3D, Setsuna, Rich III, Paxis, Nick Mangela, Woody, Jim Garner, Jimmy Fox, Mention Coins, Jester, Crypto, Buddy, Buttface, Infinite Mouse, Stab, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Machonista, All Crypto with Lionel and Crayola, Michelle, URL. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who left a like, a comment, or has subscribed. Thank you for all the support on both new channels and on Money Rules. There's a new video coming today. I'm trying to do the videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I missed Monday for some reason, so the video came out yesterday. There's a new video coming out today, and there will be another third video this week on Friday on Money Rules. Link in the description below. At the Memento, Bitcoin is currently at 19,117 US dollars. It is down by 0.04%. Literally barely a movement from yesterday. Ethereum is down by 0.59 percentile points. Everything is like sideways down, nothing too spectacular. Tron is up by 3.38% as I talk about it. Fantastic. Uniswap is down by 3. OKB is up by 1. Lumens is down by 4. Monero is up by 2.34 percentile points. Anything else crazy? Apecoin is down by 8. It seems completely logical based off of the corruption news that we got a little bit earlier. Huobi token is up by 21%. I assume this is off the back of the news that, Justin Sun is apparently or allegedly has purchased a stake in Huobi, and he's trying to revive the platform. Sure, buddy, you go for it. It's not going to work because it never works out, but you go for it. And Hedera hash bar is up by 7.7% as well. Fantastic. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are. Wherever you might be, I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for liking, commenting, subscribing, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.